He made last night down the line, just unbelievable. He is an incredible talent. He's a humble young man. He is a guy that's continuing to get better at the big league level. He is a superstar.
Safe to say he's answered any questions about whether or not he can stick at shortstop. Now, J.J. Bleday's a guy that started hot when he came up from Louisville. It looks like he's starting to heat up again.
Peaking and plateauing, and you like to see that from hitters. J.J. Bleday, obviously a guy who can really hit the ball out the ballpark, but I think it went back a couple of weeks ago when he laid down a bunt against Menzarowski in Milwaukee. I felt like that right there is when he allowed the ball to travel, and I think that coincides when he started hitting the ball much better.
It's kind of funny how sometimes a simple thing like a bunt can get a guy going. Should be a fun pitching matchup today. You look at a guy like Andrew Abbott. This is a guy that's pretty comfortable facing this Cubs lineup, and there are certainly some guys in the lineup that he has given fits to.
Yeah, he's feeling. There are certain teams around the league that you just know when we face them, I know I'm going to be on the meat of their lineup. PCA, Bregman, Happ, Suzuki, guys have not done any damage whatsoever. Hopefully he'll continue to control those guys in today's ballgame.
Should be a fun matchup. The Reds are 4-0 when he faces the Cubs here at Great American Ballpark. See if he can keep that rolling again today. By the way, that group 0 for 9 against Abbott when he pitched against him earlier this year up at Wrigley. The Reds and Cubs wrap up the series coming up shortly. We've got more on the Nick Lodolo blister saga when we come back.
All season long.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by St. Elizabeth Healthcare and the Young Family Cancer Center, a regional leader in cancer care. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For all Toyota offers, go to toyota.com. By Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. By Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. And by Bar S, America's #1 hot dog and the official cooked dinner sausage of the Cincinnati Reds. Just about set for baseball at Great American Ballpark as the Reds and Cubs finish up this 3-game series, the final series before the All-Star break. And the Reds have mapped out the starting rotation for when they get back on the field in Colorado after the All-Star break. But as of today, that starting rotation plan does not include lefty Nick Lodolo, who pitched here last night. Lodolo, the subject of our Elk and Elk injury report. Lodolo is now back on the injured list after leaving the game in the 6th inning last night. After that pitch, he's battled blisters in the past as recently as earlier this season, and the blister is back on one of his pitching fingers on his left hand, and now he's back to some of the same questions he's battled throughout his career.
Frustration's extremely high. Yeah, you know, we keep trying new things. You know, I really thought what we were doing now, I was going to be in the clear, but obviously not. So, you know, I got to keep trying to figure it out. You know, whether it's something to do or, I don't know, changing grip or something. But, yeah, I mean, frustration is really high.
Yeah, the All-Star break obviously helps Lodolo in those plans, whatever he chooses to do. For today, Chase Petty is up to help in the bullpen. And when they do start the second half of the season, Rhett Lauder, who's been in the bullpen, goes back into the Reds rotation and takes Nick Lodolo's slot, second game back in Colorado. Reds try to finish strong. Can they finish strong and win a series against the Cubs? Tommy Thrall and Barry Larkin when we come back.
Making
Sal Stewart, last game of the first half before he makes an appearance in Philadelphia at the All-Star game, his first as a big leaguer. A rookie having a Rookie of the Year caliber campaign so far. And the Reds take the field with members of the Reds Heads Kids Club. Edwin Arroyo signing some autographs. Always fun to see that on these Sunday afternoon games. Probably no better place to stand if you're one of those youngsters than shortstop, getting an Ellie autograph. Well, the Reds trying to finish out this first half on a high note, and it would certainly seem that they've got the right guy on the mound to do it. Andrew Abbott has thrown the ball awfully well. And Barry, we talked about in the open how good he has been against these Cubs. You certainly hope that that continues today.
Yeah, he's been exceptionally good against these Cubs. He's really handled the meat of this lineup. Two guys, Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson. Guys have had some success, so make sure those guys don't have success in this game.
And kind of interesting because those are two guys that are in the bottom half of the order. We'll talk more about that as we go along. Pete Crow Armstrong ready to go against Andrew Abbott. And he's ahead of Crow Armstrong with strike one. Reds have done a good job against him in this series. He's 0 for 7. Of course, we talked about it before game one. He came in red hot, but hitless with 5 strikeouts through the first 2 games. And Abbott spins him off the plate with the count evening at a ball and a strike. Now, that being said, can't take Crow Armstrong for granted because we've seen him turn it on in the snap of a finger, and he can take over a game in a hurry. Not a bad idea to back him off the plate, see how he responds with a 1-1. And he, as you might expect, buries a breaking ball in the dirt. Crow Armstrong, though, ahead of the count. Now, when you spin a hitter off the plate in, you maybe want to go away from him there, but I always feel like you want to be on the plate with that follow-up pitch.
Well, you know, I feel like it's about command. You can see, I feel like he's trying to be on the plate, just hasn't quite found it yet.
Crow Armstrong way ahead of the count, 3-1. The Reds have not lost here at Great American Ballpark when Abbott has started against the Cubs. Pops up the 3-1 pitch, but it's going to find the seats. We are in and out of clouds already this afternoon. Sun shining bright at the moment. It wasn't long ago it was raining here at Great American Ballpark. They never did put the tarp on the field. But another nice turnout and a good looking crowd on this Sunday afternoon heading into the All-Star break. Boy, Abbott, you talk about guys that have turned their season around. He's at the top of that list. Still 3-2 on Pete Crow Armstrong. Got off to a rough start, but over his last 13 starts, Andrew Abbott has pitched to a sub-3 ERA.
It has been a remarkable turnaround. Was a little struggle early, but he found something.
But he walks Pete Crow Armstrong to open the ball game this afternoon. You look at the first 6, a little rough, putting it mildly, but the thing that you have to admire about a guy like Andrew Abbott, he never got discouraged. He stuck with it, kept working on trying to find an answer, and did.
Yeah, what that answer was, don't share it. We certainly could see it in his performance.
We'll take the results. You can keep it to yourself. We'll want to know on Seiya Suzuki. Suzuki now with hits in 4 straight, has his average just south of 270. 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI yesterday. Good breaking ball, and he has the count even on Suzuki.
Late breaking downward plane. Good pitch.
And now he needles the outside corner, just kind of feathered the edge with that changeup.
Early in the game, you're always looking to see what the pitcher has command of. Hasn't necessarily been the fastball yet, but the breaking ball's pretty good so far.
Big jump for Crow Armstrong. Stevenson not in time. That's 24 on the year for Pete Crow Armstrong, and that's the other part of his game. We've seen the defense. We haven't seen him hit in this series, really. But when he gets on, always a threat to go.
Thinking the All-Star break's coming up, you want a nice round number. You just got 24. Next pitch, 25. That's what you're thinking as a runner.
Still 2-2 on Seiya Suzuki. 30 attempts is a nice round number.
That is. I'd rather have 25 stolen bases than 24 at the break.
Holding runners, something that has not just been a problem for Andrew Abbott, but for this staff as a whole. Now it's a full count on Seiya Suzuki. And Abbott now in grave danger of back-to-back walks to open the ball game. It wasn't his last start, but that game against Milwaukee in Milwaukee issued 5 walks. This one's in play down the line, but it'll slice foul. And when Abbott's on, you usually don't see him walking guys. Yeah. In fact, the walk numbers are up for him a little bit this year from where they've been in the past. A little uncharacteristic at times. Good to see him back in the zone his last start when he went 6 against the Phillies and had 8 strikeouts without issuing a walk. Again, the 3-2 to Suzuki. Instead, they check on Crow Armstrong. Maybe thinking along the same lines you were.
Yep.
Broken bat, shallow center. Steer got a late break, but able to get there. Crow Armstrong's going to try to advance, and he will. And here's how the Cubs line up today. We've already seen the top 2 hitters in this lineup with Crow Armstrong and Seiya Suzuki. Now Alex Bregman, who homered last night. But you mentioned Nico Horner down there hitting in the 6 hole, a guy that could be a little tricky for Abbott.
You can see the infield's playing in. Alex Bregman hit a 2-run home run, which was the difference in last night's ball game. It's been somewhat of a struggle for him offensively, putting a little pressure on him.
And it's 2-0. Abbott still kind of feeling for the strike zone. 8 home runs for Bregman. Still occasional power for him. Average is just way down. In on his knuckles, and now Abbott crawling his way back into the count here against Alex Bregman. When you look at Alex Bregman, though, I feel like he is a perfect candidate for one of those guys to have a strong second half.
Well, he's always got that short, compact swing. I think it's just a matter of the quality of pitches that he's swinging at.
Shallow center, out Arroyo. It's falling. Steer tries to make the sliding catch. It rolls away from him. Bregman's going to end up at second, and the Cubs are on the board with Crow Armstrong dashing home from third.
With the infield in, there's got to be a lot of communication. And as an outfielder, you have to know right away that you got to come get the ball. And I didn't necessarily see hesitation, but that's the issue with Spencer Steer playing center field. Obviously not comfortable out there, or not just something that just comes naturally for him. He just hasn't played it enough. And that ball right there is an indication on why it's so important to have everyday players playing every day.
1-0 on Carson Kelly. And it's 2-0. Kelly, one of the home runs for the Cubs last night. Two for 4, the 6th inning home run. It was his 6th home run of the year. So far, Abbott has been behind in the count with every hitter. He's back in the count here with an even 2-2 on Kelly. Just 1 out in the inning. A run already home for the Cubs. And it's a muggy day. Mentioned that it rained just before the game. It was kind of a pop-up shower. And you get those on warm, muggy days. And Andrew Abbott really having to work in this first inning. But he paints the outside corner for strike 3 to punch out Carson Kelly.
Yeah, this was a good fastball at the top of the zone away from Carson Kelly. And I believe that ball was a strike. Tyler Stevenson does a nice job of selling it if it wasn't.
Good pitch, good spot, 2 down. Left-handed hitting Michael Busch spoils the first pitch into the seats down the left field line. Busch had a big night last night, went 3 for 4. Double and a run scored. But you've got to throw him strikes. He's not afraid to take a walk, second in the National League with his 63 walks. And Abbott quickly ahead of him here, 0-2. So the Cubs scoring here in this first inning on that bloop single into short center field. Actually probably bloop double. And it did go as a double, the 15th of the year for Alex Bregman. But Abbott a little bit more on the attack since then. Even though he fell behind Kelly, quickly got back in the count, struck him out looking, and now he's trying to put away Busch. He lays off the high fastball. When Abbott has pitched against the Reds, it has been win day. The Reds are 6-2 in his 8 starts against Chicago. But this ball is well struck toward the corner and deep and off the wall. Bregman will score easily, and Busch into second with an RBI double. It's 2-0 Cubs.
Well, with 2 strikes, you got to defend, and a sweeper unfortunately just left right out over the plate. And Michael Busch continues to be productive in the middle of this Cubs lineup.
He didn't miss hitting that one out of here by much, halfway up the fence and right. And now it's Nico Hoerner, like we talked about. He's 0 for 7 in this series, but Barry, you've kind of been keeping an eye on him. It's not exactly been as though the Reds have dominated him to that 0 for 7.
Yeah, he's hit some balls hard, some line drives. I feel like this is the kind of matchup that you got to be very careful with Nico Hoerner. The numbers aren't saying that he's on fire, but be careful with this guy.
Cubs making Andrew Abbott throw a lot of pitches here in this first inning. Already they've fouled off 10 pitches. And Abbott's going to throw at least 30 pitches here in this first inning alone. Hoerner laying off the changeup. Like to see a little bit more separation between the balls and strikes. On the ground, though, to Ellie. Should end the inning, and it will. But the Cubs get 2 in the top of the first. Reds will take their swings when we come back. Once again, Ellie De La Cruz leading things off in today's Reds St. Elizabeth Healthcare starting lineup. The All-Star Sal Stewart right behind him. Lede, Suarez, Stevenson there in the middle. Of course, Lede's been red hot. He has homers in 3 of his last 4 games. Love to see him stay hot. Keep Brian Hayes back in the lineup over at third. And the Reds will go to work against Matthew Boyd, and the Reds have had success against left-handed pitching this year. You look at the OPS as a team, the Reds have been one of the best teams in the league against southpaws. You hope that continues today because they find themselves in an early deficit. And it looks like Ellie's got something in his eye. You see the numbers on, or you saw the numbers on Boyd. He's only making his 9th start today. He's had a couple of different stints on the injured list this year, which has limited him some.
Something that makes a difference here is today is his 5th career start here at Great American Ballpark, where he has had no success at all. 0-3 with a .953 ERA. 18 earned runs in 17 innings pitched. Hopefully that trend will continue.
No doubt. You kind of look at a guy's pitch mix when you see that maybe they've had some difficulty, and then you see that the pitch they rely on the most, which is not uncommon for it to be a fastball, but when teams are hitting over 300 against the pitch you go to the most, that can be a recipe to have some tough starts.
That's for sure. He has had some success with the slider. The league is hitting 125 against his slider. 13 punch outs this year. 3 for 24. Guys are offering at that slider.
Broken bat, had something in his eye. Now he needs a new stick. Ellie's been swinging it well. Last 13, 16 for 52. 3 home runs over that span. 15 homers for him going into the All-Star break. He was 2 for 4 again last night with a walk and a stolen base. He was also picked off first. So he's got the new bat ready to go. It's a much different bat. Boy, he has enjoyed hitting here at home. 10 of his 15 home runs right here. Well over 300 here at Great American Ballpark.
You know, Tommy, it's funny that you said that. It's a different bat. And I was just thinking about the relationship between players and their bats. Many times when you have one bat that's having a lot of success, and yes, I did say that, a bat that's having a lot of success, you have a tendency to name it. Oh, for instance, he had Ivory up there, and then he went to Ebony. so he has Ebony and Ivory. Now he's got to get a new Ivory.
It's good.
You know, it happens.
I see what you did there.
I'm not joking. It does happen.
Trust me. That's not the only thing I've heard players name. Toward the corner and right off the bat of Sal, but it'll slice off into the seats. 0-1 on Sal Stewart. He's been on some kind of tear. 40 extra base hits for him before the break. 65 RBIs. Both lead National League rookies.
See, we got some round numbers up there. He's sitting on 19 bombs. It'd be nice. 20 would be nice going into the break. 65 stakes. That's a good number. Although 70 would be much better.
Oh, no pressure on the kid.
None at all.
We need you to go out and drive in 5.
He's already 22.
No swings. 1 and 2 on Sal. But I'll tell you this, I'd much rather a player hunt RBIs than homers.
Oh, no doubt. And they both will happen. And
no question.
Sal is doing exactly that. Sal is hunting RBIs. He is not hunting homers. He's hitting homers, which is great. But Sal, this kid, he gets it.
You kind of look at him and the type of player that he is, and do you see a guy that is going to only hit for more and more power as he matures? And it hit him. Got him down around the ankle. But he hops right up and hobbles down to first. I mean, it was a slider, no intent there. Just got away from Boyd. Fortunately, got him on the guard.
Yep.
But, you know, some players, and I feel like it was way more common, and maybe I'm wrong here, but when you were coming up, how often were guys already established power hitters when they got to the big leagues?
Yeah, it didn't happen. I mean, you know, there are guys like Adam Dunn, if you will. Adam Dunn was always a power hitter. But, you know, you have to get it done at the big league level. And it doesn't click right away for everyone. Right? So you have to kind of go out there and play the game. Then eventually you settle into lofting the ball over the fences.
I mean, you look at,
it doesn't happen right away for most guys. And Sal the same. I mean, yeah, he hit some home runs early. Ellie De La Cruz, he hit some home runs early. But it just hasn't happened. You look at Edwin Arroyo when he was down in AAA. He was destroying the ball and hitting home runs.
Roped to left by Steer, and the Reds have a couple of men aboard with 1 out.
He still does not have one at the big league level. And it's coming. It's not that he doesn't have the ability to hit the ball at the ballpark. It just doesn't happen right away. And a lot of times Nice job on that changeup by Spencer Steer. I feel like he does a really nice job when the ball's down. Really nice job of just staying through the baseball. I feel like when the ball's a little more elevated, it's like he does a little bit of movement to take him off that ball.
J.J. Bleday with homers in 3 of his last 4. Boy, almost overcooked that to the screen. Nice job by Carson Kelly back there.
And that's his pitch that he's had the most success with hitters when they offer at it.
That's the same pitch that he hit Sal with.
It is.
A chance for 2. Horner to Swanson, not in time. Immediately, Michael Busch looks into the Cubs dugout. You be the judge.
Yeah, that's close.
And the Cubs say, take a look. I mean, that's the difference of the ruling being when it enters the glove or whether it's in the back.
Safe call at first base.
Jim Wolf never one to miss arm day. Relaying the message. He's the crew chief.
Ball was hit hard. Nico Horner kind of has to let that ball come to him.
Wow. I think that might get overturned. JJ's had enough of those. Remember back to the bunt that he had in Milwaukee.
Close plays, yeah. You asked the question about Sal.
Yeah.
The question was, will he get better at hitting more home runs and continue the power? I think what will happen with Sal is he'll get more comfortable and he will swing at better pitches. And he will continue to be productive. And yes, I think he'll hit more home runs as well as driving more runs.
After review, the call stands. The runner is safe.
Whoa! Not gonna lie, I already wrote that down as a double play. Instead, it's a fielder's choice. Reds will take it. So it becomes a 4-6 fielder's choice. Sal now at third. Gino with a chance to get the Reds on the board. The Cubs putting up 2, trying to answer. But going back to that conversation with Sal, I just think if you are a good hitter first, that is a much more natural progression into power.
Yes, 100%.
That's a better way to put it. And this one is toward the corner, but he's out in front. It's a better foundation to be a more well-rounded hitter as you get older and get more comfortable at the major league level.
Yeah. You have to learn how to hit first. If you can't hit, if you're not a good hitter, you're not going to be able to stay at the big league level.
You can have all the power in the world. What good does that do?
There are guys with a lot of prolific power but aren't good hitters. Or guys that have a lot of power that are guess hitters. And I think anytime you see a guy, I think about Aristides Aquino, right? He had tremendous power, but I think he guessed, well, I know he guessed a lot on the pitches, right? And so when he guessed right, he had success.
Right.
And he guessed wrong a whole bunch of times. He had about a week or so where he guessed right.
Oh, man. A little easier to guess when you break into the big leagues and you're seeing fastballs every other pitch.
Yeah. But what a run he had.
Oh, my. Well, it was legendary.
Reese Hines, what a run he had.
But it was a flame that burned hot and quick.
Unfortunately.
2-2 on Suarez. Suarez hit his 10th home run of the year last night. And it's still 2-2. Well, these are the situations the Reds struggled with big time last night. No struggle here.
No, he let that ball travel, and Gino's plenty of pop. It's all about just maintaining his balance.
Opposite field power is a thing of beauty.
It is.
Still 2-2, and he's battling against Matthew Boyd. And again, pulled foul. He's fouled him back to the right. He's pulled him down the line. He's covered a lot of territory outside the white lines. Now trying to put one in play and get the Reds on the board here. But a wave and a miss at the slider ends the Reds' threat here in the first. Still 2-0 Cubs at the end of one.
Michelin, motion for life.
Cubs have the bottom third of the order. And speaking of, Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Today, how about the Cubs' bottom of their order? 6, 7, 8, and 9. Pretty productive. When you are second to the Dodgers in something offensive, you're doing something right. There's a lot of production down in this part of this Cubs lineup. Ian Happ watches a first pitch breaking ball. Now we'll see if it continues here, because Happ's a guy that has struggled historically against Andrew Abbott. He had a little trouble with his command in the first inning, dialed it in a little bit more as the inning went along, and it's 1-1 on Happ. Breaks his bat in the hole. Ellie takes his time, gets plenty on the throw, and there's one gone here in the second. You know, you watch Elliott short, and Barry, we've talked about it. He's better defensively this year than he was a year ago, and I think some of that comes down to his throwing. It almost seems like he's getting more by dialing it back.
I would agree with that. He's playing more under control. Yeah. And he doesn't need to let it eat all the time. He understands that. That's experience.
Right.
You have to go through it, and you have to make the mistakes that he's made in the past in order to know what to do, or more importantly, what not to do.
87 across the diamond, still plenty enough to
Exactly.
throw out most guys. You don't have to throw at 98.
That's a changeup.
Yeah, that's a pretty good change. Huh?
Four finger grip right there.
It's not fair.
Yeah, he's a special talent, man.
Did you ever get clocked across the diamond?
No.
You weren't a little curious?
I'm definitely curious what it was.
When was the last time you went out and played catch? Do you still get out and throw?
Every spring training.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Throw BP during spring training. I throw across the diamond in spring training. Sometimes I need a cutoff man to get it.
Get out of here. Stop. Abbott doing much better to the first two hitters here in the second. He's way ahead of Dansby Swanson. Swanson snapped his modest five-game hit streak last night. He went 0 for 4, punched out a couple of times. But he has feasted on Andrew Abbott over his career. 6 for 17, couple of homers, couple of doubles. But he's down 1-2. Lays off the changeup. That's pretty good production. They got him here.
Yeah, good pitch right there, Andrew Abbott. Dansby Swanson, you talked about the production he did have against Andrew Abbott. Abbott said, not this time, buddy.
That's a really nasty breaking ball right there from Abbott. Sweeps it right in there. And Swanson swung at it like he was sweeping the floor. Now Kevin Alcantara, we haven't seen him in this series. Just 3 for 15 on the season. Alcantara.
6'6". Love to see him and Ellie standing next to each other.
They both got some pretty good hair working. Alcantara's got a little more blonde mixed in, though. He picks on Ellie, and like he's playing catch. Nice bounce back for Abbott. An easy 1-2-3 second inning for Andrew Abbott, but the Cubs still up 2.
The 3 for me. Oh.
In today's Toyota Tundra Home Run Challenge, John Foster from Batavia, Ohio, will win a brand new built in the USA Tundra if a red hits the Toyota hit and win sign. Register for your chance to win at any Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Good luck today, John. Be nice. Hopefully somebody does it with a guy or 2 or 3 aboard. That looked like that might have been a little off the plate, but it's 0-1 on Stevenson with a backdoor breaking ball from Matthew Boyd. Now it's even. Stevenson has been hot, and he's had success against the Cubs. Almost a 300 hitter in his career against Chicago, and it's not been a light 293. He has 23 lifetime extra base hits against Chicago. Has hits in 9 of his last 10 games. And now he's way ahead in the count, 3-1. And you talked about the slider being one of the better pitches for Matthew Boyd. He hasn't shown any indication that he can command it. So Stevenson rips it, but Dansby Swanson goes Superman for the first out in the second.
That was perfectly timed by Dansby Swanson. I mean, he went horizontal on this ball. Wow. Man, what a play.
Ball's by him.
Yeah.
His last step was actually a step back. Wow. I've always enjoyed watching Dansby Swanson play. I prefer to do it from afar. Let him make those plays against the Pirates and Brewers. 1-1 now, Noelvi Marte. Got in the game late last night, came off the bench as a pinch hitter, but struck out.
Matthew Boyd, this inning has been basically change-up, curveball, occasional slider, but it looks like he's just taken all the heat off his pitches.
Well, when you were talking about it to begin things, the fastball is the pitch that gets hit. So,
yeah,
why work off that? Why not use the fastball off everything else? Because when you do that, a lot of times it can make the fastball play up a little bit.
You're absolutely right. Pitching backwards.
This time, Marte picks on Bregman, 2 outs. Let's hear from Jake Sweeney Chevrolet.
Jake Sweeney Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Edwin Arroyo makes his way up there. He's 0 for 5 or 0 for 4 last night. Struck out, 240 on the year. We talked about, still in search of that first big league home run. He does have 4 extra base hits. And again to Bregman. And again, he makes the play, and the Reds are out in order in the second.
Let's go places.
Taking a look at the Tri-Health Reds defense behind Andrew Abbott today. Leday, Steer, Marte once again with the left-hander on the mound in the outfield. See Brian Hayes back manning third again. Boy, Edwin Arroyo, he's looked so good at second base since coming up here. And he just keeps looking better and better as he gets more comfortable at that position. It's a spot he's played quite a bit in the minor leagues this year, but it's still relatively new to him, coming up as a shortstop. Pretty good infield defense for the Reds today.
Yep.
0-2 quickly on Pete Crow Armstrong. Abbott walked him to open the game. Then he stole second and came around to score on the Blue Bregman double. Still hitless in the series, though. Just a little upstairs with that fastball. Well, we have a treat coming up for you in the bottom half of the inning. We'll hear from Red starter Hunter Green. Talk about his sheer dominance of this Cubs lineup on Friday night. Abbott got that right in on the hands of Pete Crow Armstrong. It'd be fun to watch him continue to do that every fifth day to the end of the year, wouldn't it?
He was amazing.
Should be routine for Stewart. Abbott getting over and wins the foot race with Pete Crow Armstrong. There's one gone here in the third.
As soon as this ball's on the ground, you got to get there right now. PCA can fly. You can see Andrew Abbott doing a nice job of getting over to first base, creating a great angle. Sal, so good, fundamentally sound. Just about every aspect of the game.
I think that's a play right there that he's getting better at. Giving the pitchers a good feed.
Yeah, and once again, first base is not his position.
No.
He's learning it at this level as well.
Always feels like the guys that are quick learners up here, and I think Sal Stewart certainly fits into that category, have good baseball instincts.
Yes.
He's going to chase this over by the tarp. The question is, will he have a play? And he won't. Speaking of the tarp, we've seen Reds groundskeeper Derek Grubbs go out and talk with the umpiring crew a couple of times. There are certainly plenty of clouds in the area. Hopefully,
Just saying hi.
yeah, just catching up with old friends.
Yeah.
0-1 on Seiya Suzuki. 0-2. Good changeup. And that's the thing that you love watching when Andrew Abbott's pitching, that he can throw any pitch pretty much at any count for a strike. And he had to feel his way through that a little bit in the first inning. He wasn't able to do that, but he's starting to do a better job of it as we move along in this game.
Yes.
Not a bad idea, but Suzuki lays off and the count evens. Rip, but keep Brian Hayes up to the task on the bullet. Straight up into the air. Keep Brian Hayes.
This one was definitely extra bases. Keep Brian. Cat quick reflexes.
There's nobody else on this team making that play. That is, ooh. Ball one.
He is special over in that corner, no doubt about it.
Reason he's got a couple. Look at him smiling over at Ellie.
Because Ellie just told him I'd have made that play.
Yeah. He wouldn't have had to jump.
Yeah, Key said, yeah, you'd have made it because you wouldn't have to jump. Exactly.
Would have been self-preservation. Weak tapper, and Abbott should have a nice easy 1-2-3 third. He does. Let's chat with Hunter Green when we come back. Cubs still by 2.
Right.
Reds come to bat looking for a couple of runs here in the third inning. And it's time to visit with Hunter Green on our Active Mic, presented by the Active Cash Card. Hunter, thanks so much for joining us, man. I got to tell you, watching you go to work and carve up this Cubs lineup on Friday night, that was a thing of beauty. Are you able to enjoy a game like that when you're in the moment? I mean, is that as fun for you to be involved in as it is for us to watch?
Yeah, thank you, Abby. Yes, great swing. Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's a tough balance. You know, obviously I'm accustomed to it now at this point, but you know, you try and smell the roses as much as you can because performances aren't guaranteed. Obviously you work and you try and put yourself in a good position to dominate and do well consistently, but it's never guaranteed. So you're always like, okay, what's next? I'm coming into the dugout. Who are the next 3 or 4 hitters I'm going to face? What did I do to them last AB? Right, and you're playing that chess game. But I think when you're feeling really good and your body feels good, you know that, hey, this is going to be a really good game. I just got to make sure I execute and stay within myself. So I think that's the fun part is like when your body's feeling good and you're going good, like you know you're going to be able to get some pitches past guys. And so if that answers your question, like that's for me, like that's when it's fun. It's like, okay, like I'm going good today and all I got to do is execute and it's going to be a good game.
Well, Hunt, you obviously were dominant in that first game or that second game. Ellie De La Cruz hits the ball hard.
And he's still getting down the line in good shape, beats out the double play. So the Reds will keep a runner aboard, but Hayes erased at second on the play by Bregman.
Hunt, you talked about when your body feels good. Talk to us about your body. How are you doing? Physically, we see you out there, and we know you're Superman. You're going out there and you're dominating. But you did have some surgery you did have some surgery early in the season. How are you doing physically?
I feel great. I feel like I'm in a good place. And what's tough about, you know, the bone spurs is it's nothing I could have prevented. There wasn't any work I could have put in more or conditioning myself a certain way to prevent it. It's pure anatomy, and it's really just being a pitcher. If I can explain it a little bit, it's, if you can imagine, so as we're throwing a pitch, our elbow almost like hyperextends, right? From like you guys can see me, I don't know if I'm on the screen, but when you finish a pitch, that like banging just naturally happens when you're coming through a pitch to finish it. And over time, that banging, your bones hit each other, right? And it causes the friction where it knocks off little pieces of bone. You know, obviously there's some really great arms that also got it early on this year. And you see it, and I've talked to some other former players that have had it 3 or 4 times. Hopefully that's not my case, but man, it's really just part of the position that I play and the competitive aspect and just how the body works as a pitcher. So I think that's, you know, a little bit of a frustrating kind of pill to swallow is like, okay, man, I couldn't have done anything to prevent this. But, you know, obviously you got to be able to get over that and get into a positive mindset and work, you know, as best as you can to come back in your time off to put yourself in the best position and just embrace you know, being able to attack maybe other areas or maybe sharpening up some other pitches and really trying to maximize the time that you're sidelined instead of just focusing just on the elbow. It's an opportunity to focus on a lot of other things and work on some other you know, components of your game.
Well, other things that you focused on, you've really taken leadership role with those pitchers, particularly Chase Burns. How's that relationship going?
It's been great. You know, I'm extremely happy for Chase. I kind of touched on it in the post-game interview. I don't really say I'm proud of people because I feel like, you know, when you say that, you kind of have, like you're kind of submitting yourself into their success. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's continued to stay true to himself and just navigate the big leagues in a really strong way, in a consistent way. And obviously it's the beginning of his career, but he's extremely competitive. I'm happy that he's starting to show more emotion. I told him when he first got to us, I'm like, man, I've seen your video when you were with Tennessee and Wake Forest. Come on, go.
That's toward the gap. Sal flirting with extra bases, and it's down and off to the races for Ellie. They'll hold him at third, but it's a double for Sal Stewart. The Reds are in business with 2 in scoring position and only 1 out in the third.
But Chase has just done a really good job navigating on and off the field, how to be a starting pitcher, and it's just the beginning for him. And he's in such a great place early on, so sky's only the limit, or sky's the limit. And he's in a great spot. So happy for him, and exciting to be able to sit on the bench and watch him do his thing at a young level.
And Hunter, I mean, you've got to see a lot of yourself in him. What are some of the things that you've learned already in your time in the big leagues that are things that you can help him that he's going through right now?
Yeah, I don't want to be a broken record, with him. I'm pretty cognizant about, me constantly bringing myself up with certain things, whether it's on the field and off the field. Obviously, he's his own player in person. But I'd be doing a disservice to him if I didn't come from that perspective. And we have the same pitches, obviously same velocity and competitive nature to ourselves, and same kind of progression coming into the big leagues, right? Not a lot of innings in the minor leagues, not having that workload. He had it in college, but obviously it's different in pro ball and up here in the big leagues. So it's been great, man. I just try and find like really kind of just natural times to get into his mind and to plant certain seeds when I can, where it doesn't seem forced or like, hey man, did somebody tell you to come up to me and say this? I want it to be as genuine as possible and as truthful as I can make it. So I feel like I've been able to do that, and I'm just super cognizant of that because I want it to be a very genuine, cool relationship. People come up to me a lot, and outside of the organization, and are kind of always pitting us against each other and wanting to see who's better than the other. And, there's got to be one guy. There can only be one guy. And, I think it's they lack the perspective, but, at the same time, I get it. It's the fans that are enjoying the moment, and they want to see, greatness from myself and from Chase, as they should, and they deserve that. But at the same time, like, there can be two fantastic pitchers that are dominating and doing their thing, and we're both extremely competitive. So, of course, between the two of us, we want to be, he wants to be the guy, I want to be the guy.
Yeah, there's Major League Baseball hasn't passed any rules to how many studs you can have in your rotation.
Right. But I don't want to take the approach of, I'm going to try and be the guy, so I'm going to gatekeep on certain information. That's not who I am, and I don't roll like that. So I don't want to approach him that way, but he's got a lot figured out, but obviously he's got a lot to continue to work on too.
Well, you both are great, and there's no doubt about that. And we're also looking at Elly De La Cruz, and we feel like he's a superstar, but he's becoming even better. How do you and how does Chase, how do you guys continue to get better at this level, as we're seeing Elly De La Cruz do?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lark. I remember asking Joey before he decided to move on, how he was able to stay in the game for 17 years. And obviously it's a really broad question. But he said, man, I just had to figure out how to continue to evolve and kind of upgrade myself and fine-tune off-season after off-season after off-season. Because I'm only getting older, the game's only getting younger, and the players are getting better, right? They're getting bigger, faster, stronger. So if I don't continue to evolve and figure out certain edges to my game where I can get the upper hand, you get lost in the game. You fall behind. So I think it's being able to look at yourself in the mirror throughout the season, but especially in the off season, no matter how bad or how successful your season is, and figure out things that you still got to get better at, right? I think that's what makes a great professional defense.
Bleday goes the other way. Here's the throw to the plate, up the line. Sal scores, we're tied, and Bleday takes second. J.J. Bleday, that's not something we've seen him do a lot of, but he fillets it into left, going with it to tie this thing at 2 in the third.
Well, lefty, I talked about J.J. Bleday laying down the bunt and letting the ball get deep from Mizorowski. Well, that's exactly what he just did. This time he just didn't bunt. He took a full swing, but he let the ball get deep. That's the way he's able to stay behind the ball, hit the ball the other way, throw off line to the plate, tie ball game.
Well, you hope that kind of helps these hitters relax a little bit. First hit with runners in scoring position this series. And it's also going to prompt a visit from Tommy Hotovy, the Cub pitching coach.
Well, Hunt, you're the rally guy, man. We scored 2 runs here.
Stay here for a minute.
You might have to stay here for a while.
Sorry about it. I don't know if you knew. You just became the third member of this broadcast. So
there you go.
Get him. Hey, I do want to go back to Friday night, if you don't mind, for a second, because it started out. you missed, and it looked like, I don't know if overthrowing is the right word, but your fastball was up a little bit to the first hitter of the game. And then all of a sudden, you course corrected, and you dialed it back into the strike zone so quickly. And it was something you kind of struggled with in your first start. What did you do differently that allowed you to correct yourself on the fly like that and continue to just go out there and shut down this Cubs lineup?
Being a professional, figuring out, just like I talked about, looking in the mirror, going back to the drawing board, but not trying to reinvent the wheel. As much as I would love to say I'm always in control of my body and I'm always synced up, that's just not the reality with pitchers. There's games where you're just not synced up, and that's part of it, right? We're human. But it's being able to recognize that, and as a pitcher, even as a hitter and infielders, outfielders, we have to make adjustments pitch to pitch. We can't afford to make adjustments batter to batter, inning to inning. It's too late. We gotta be able to have cues and adjustments pitch to pitch. And I think just with my first game, coming back, a lot of excitement, and obviously that's on me to be able to stay within myself. But
the batter is challenging.
It was just a little giddy and was kind of out of my mechanics. But kind of seeing my film and feeling what I was feeling in the game,
Cincinnati has one remaining
I was able to get back on track and stay within my body. And if you really watched the first game and the game the other day, you could see the difference just in my mechanics alone of staying within myself. So just let my body do its thing.
Well, I know what I saw in that first game against Baltimore. It was a lot of power, not the command. And then against these Cubbies, it was the power and the command. As Tommy mentioned, and we were talking about it, the first two pitches of the game, I thought they were up above the strike zone. And then everything after that, it was like you commanded it. And it was interesting for me to watch and see you kind of how you game planned against these guys. I thought it was a whole bunch of fastballs early, and then you brought in the curveball, or the slider, the slurve, and then later in the game you brought in the split. Was that the game plan?
Yeah, well, you guys mentioned the first couple pitches to start the game. Pete, who's leading off, I've been facing Pete since high school. I'm obviously older than him, but caught him my first 2 years, or my last 2 years in high school.
This ball's crushed. Gino to the second deck to put the Reds on top.
Yeah, I'm staying right here with you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope you're comfy down there. I hope you've got a real comfortable spot. Number 200 for Gino in the Reds uniform.
Visit to the mound, and we talked about it early in the season, or early in the inning, there was a lot of off-speed pitches. And then the meeting on the mound, it looked like, hey, a little more power. Well, maybe this is why Matthew Boyd was trying to avoid the power. Does not feeling good about that fastball. And you mentioned how hitters were doing damage against that fastball. Gino crushed that. Wow.
Nasty.
Think that feels good for him?
Oh, goodness.
That's great. But going back to,
now Steve-O, but this one's playable for Hap.
Yeah, going back to just Pete, very aggressive, and I knew he was going to be swinging early, so I had to make sure it wasn't too good of a pitch. That's why the balls were up in the zone.
Well, whatever it was you decided to do, brother, was great. You absolutely dominated, and we really look forward to you being back on that mound again.
Absolutely. Hunter, thanks so much. Really appreciate the time tonight.
All right, thanks, y'all. Talk to you later.
All right, that is Hunter. Suarez blasting the Reds in front here in the third.
Jake Sweeney Kia.
Reds trying to win the rubber match of this three-game set heading into the All-Star break. They have a 4-2 lead. Reds TV is presented by Bar S as the Cubs come to bat here in the fourth inning. Boy,
the next half, bottom half, is Hunt coming back up? I mean, 4 runs. Come on now.
Yeah, it's expected, isn't it?
If not, he's getting banged in kangaroo court.
You better believe it. Oh, Man,
that was a fun inning.
That was on a lot of levels.
Yes, indeed.
Great to hear from Hunter.
Well, Ke'Bryan Hayes.
That was a
bullet.
really nice swing.
Yep. Nice to see.
Got it all started with that base hit. You can't help but hope that that's a sign that maybe he's starting to get things figured out from an offensive standpoint. You've seen what he's done over his career. It's in there.
It's there. It's definitely there.
Just got to unlock it. And that's the type of swing the Reds need from him. They don't need him to go out and hit home runs. Leadoff walk to Carson Kelly begins the 4th inning, though. A 4-pitch walk at that. Not exactly ideal after the Reds stake Andrew Abbott to a 4-2 advantage. See if he can dial it back into the strike zone here against Michael Busch, who doubled homer run his first time up. One and 0. First 5 of the inning out of the zone. And now that pitch count really starting to mount for Abbott. Right in there. So now he's back in the zone. Well located fastball. Actually looked like he may have taken a little bit off there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen like when he decides he needs to throw a strike with that heater, it's sitting about 90 miles an hour. Normally it's about 92, 93.
This could be trouble toward the corner, and it's off the fence. Kelly around to third base. He'll be held there by Quentin Berry. But it's a stand-up double to the wall and right for Michael Busch, almost identical to the double he hit back in the first inning. That too was about halfway up the bullpen gate and right.
I believe that also was on a sweeper out over the plate. And Michael Busch having all kind of success against Andrew Abbott in today's ball game.
So now Nico Horner right back up the middle. Nice backhand play. Arroyo looks the runner back to third. Still has time to get the out on Horner at first.
That's a really good play by Edwin Arroyo. He catches that ball, and that runner at third base has to freeze because it's a line drive. Then Edwin Arroyo looks him back to third base, challenging that he will throw to third base, and understanding he's still got enough arm to get Nico Horner, who can run at first base.
Ooh, right on the back heel. Stewart taking a foot from Happ, but looks like he's all right. Of course, he's not been beat up enough. Remember, he got hit by a pitch earlier in the game. He's shaking it out a little bit. 1-0 on Happ. 2-0. And it's 3-0. Now Dansby Swanson waiting in the on-deck circle. He struck him out his first time up, but Swanson's had some success against him. Happ has not, but it's a 4-pitch walk to Ian Happ. And that's going to bring out Tyler Stevenson. So they're loaded here with 1 out. It does set up the double play. However, you were facing a guy that hasn't had any success off you, and now you're facing a guy that has had some success. Of course, he struck him out the first time up. Maybe he feels better about his chances against him this go around, perhaps with what he's got on this day. But one thing we do know, Swanson's been awfully good in his career with the bases loaded. Reds will take the out at home if it's there. They'll also take the double play up the middle. 0-1 on Swanson. Kelly at third. He walked to start the inning. Michael Busch doubled right behind him. And Ian Happ after the 4-pitch 1-out walk. 0-2 now on Swanson. Only 2 strikeouts. Swanson's one of them. Now he is struck out for a 3rd time. 3 for Andrew Abbott. 2nd strikeout of Dansby Swanson.
Just a really smart pitch right here. Andrew Abbott going with the fastball, understanding 0-2. You're going to be very defensive as a hitter. You're going to protect. He expands, gets the chase.
Jake Sweeney pitch tracks. 3rd strikeout of the game for Abbott. Now Kevin Alcantara takes strike 1. Alcantara played catch with Ellie his first time up. Ripped one right to the shortstop. The two gave each other a little smile after. And Abbott 0-2. I mean, it's incredible. Two 4-pitch walks in the inning. Carson Kelly walks to start the inning. Then a ball gets smoked off the wall. Then he walks Ian Happ on 4 pitches. Comes right back to strike out Swanson. Now he's 0-2 on Alcantara. Still 0-2. Abbott trying to leave him loaded. Right back up the middle. It hits the bag. 2 runs are going to score, and we're tied at 4. And Arroyo was right there.
Well, there's nothing you can do about this right here. You know, you're in the proper position defensively. That's an easy play. The ball right off the bag.
Wow. We talked earlier about the production the Cubs have received from the bottom part of their order. 2 more RBIs now from their 9-hole hitter, and Pete Crow Armstrong takes strike 1. Now he's got him down to the count 0-2. Chase Petty, who just got activated today, recalled from AAA Louisville when the Reds put Nick Lodolo on the injured list for the blister. He's throwing now in the Reds bullpen. One and 2. Abbott rapidly approaching 80 pitches. We are only in the 4th inning. Broken bat, soft roller, could be a tough play. And not in time, and the Cubs take the lead. First hit of the series for Pete Crow Armstrong, and it's a soft broken bat roller right off the end of the bat.
Yeah, I think this is going to be challenged. That's really the only play.
Ooh.
Look to here.
Cincinnati is challenging the safe call at first base.
Well, in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. Oh, yeah. I like the Reds' chances.
Yes, indeed.
Folks here certainly think that.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah. Oh, that's clear.
Yeah, he's out.
Seems pretty clear and convincing to me. And the Reds are starting to make their way off the field. Pete Crow Armstrong also
making himself
heading
way to center field.
Getting a head start. It's get the official word from Jim Wolf.
After review, the call is overturned. The runner is out. Cincinnati retains its challenge.
Well, we're still tied at 4 as we head to the home half.
Baseball is better with a group.
Red TV is presented by Bar S, and we are tied at 4. Pete Crow Armstrong remains hitless in the series. Really nice play by Edwin Arroyo on that slow broken bat roller that would have given the Cubs the lead, but the call was overturned. Reds with some really good swings against Matthew Boyd in the 3rd inning. You hope that can continue here in the 4th, beginning with Noelvi Marte. But it's 2 hops toward Bregman. And there's 1 down to begin the 4th. Can't help but wonder if Andrew Abbott's day is done. Of course, he was right on the cusp of getting out of that 4th inning with no damage. And then the little soft roller back up the middle hit the bag. The Cubs got 2. Some tough luck for Andrew Abbott. Of course, he's probably still chapped about the walks. Arroyo shortening to bunt, but it's a changeup in the dirt. At any rate, it ends Abbott's streak of 13 straight starts, allowing 3 or fewer earned. Arroyo lofts one toward the gap, but he in haphazard measured. Let's hear from Jake Sweeney Kia.
Jake Sweeney Kia. Drive smart. Spend less.
Really nice base hit from Key Brian Hayes, his first time up. Bats now for the 2nd time, and it was Hayes' hit that started that 3rd inning. Boyd spins one in there for a called strike. It was the fastball the Reds seemed to be connecting on in the 3rd. Not seeing as much of that here in the 4th. And he hits him. So the slider that time got ahead with the curveball, then hit him with the slider. And again, that's a pitch that it's the 2nd time he's hit a batter with it. He's almost thrown one to the backstop. He's kind of been all over the place with that slider today. Slide or not, it hurts to get hit right above your knee right there. Ouch. Ellie gets under it to Pete Crow Armstrong. Wrong guy to hit it to. Inning over. Reds come up empty in the 4th, and we're still tied at 4 through 4.
Tri-Health.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by Ray's St. Clair Roofing, your trusted problem solver. Give us a call. By Bet365, where winning is everything. And by Jake Sweeney Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. All even in the rubber match of this 3-game set heading into the All-Star break. And in fact, Andrew Abbott's day is done. Chase Petty on now. 11th appearance. Bit of a mixed bag for Chase Petty, but I think overall the Reds were really happy with what they saw from him out of the bullpen. The first time around up here pitching in relief.
Yeah, and all reports are that Chase Petty took this time to go down to the minor leagues and really refine what he was doing at the big league level. It's a lot of fastball changeups, work a little bit more on that sweeper that we just saw on that 2nd pitch. But he had some really good outings last time he was up here.
The catcher is challenging.
And I feel more than anything, he really showed an aggressiveness to going after hitters.
The call's overturned. Cincinnati has 1 challenge remaining.
Should be no surprise when Tyler Stevenson challenges. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile. Well, he didn't have a whole lot of time down there, but what he did was strike guys out. And certainly Petty back up here probably earlier than the Reds expect. Not probably. He is back earlier than the Reds expected. Low Bridges Seiya Suzuki.
A little change up. They got away a little bit. Certainly no intent.
You don't usually want to go up there on purpose with a changeup.
Not normally. You don't want to go up there on purpose, period.
Did he go? Guess not. Alberto Ortiz says no.
A good place for the follow-up pitch. And you know Goodenwell is a hitter. When a pitcher misses that bad inside, he's going to throw the ball on the outside part of the plate.
And now he weakly lofts it toward Marte, but he got turned around, recovers in time on the track. Well, wasn't quite so weak. Kind of looked like he just one-handed that. It had a little carry out there to right.
We call this the circuitous route.
That's a little unnerving when you see an outfielder do that.
Yeah.
A little pirouette there can often spell disaster, but Marte uses athleticism. Now Alex Bregman pokes one through the hole on the left side.
Do not want this guy getting hot. Saw the 2-run bomb the other day. Double his first at bat today on a pop-up behind second base. And a clean base hit. Alex Bregman can get real hot real quick. And that could be a problem.
Yeah, yes. And you don't have to go back very far to see Alex Bregman being a problem at the plate. An all-star last year. That's certainly what the Cubs were hoping to get from him when they got him this year, but it's been a tough start. But he can turn his season around almost in the snap of a finger. This has a chance to be 2. Hayes to Arroyo. It is. Inning-ending double play, a scoreless 5th from Petty, and we're still tied at 4. Halfway through it at Great American Ballpark.
Break.
Major League Baseball is taking over Philly with the game's biggest events, and the action starts tomorrow with the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on Netflix. Then you can catch the 96th Midsummer Classic, the MLB All-Star Game, presented by MasterCard, Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Fox. Couple of notes before we get to the game. Starting pitchers announced today. That's going to be Dylan Cease and Christopher Sanchez. And then this guy, 43-year-old Justin Verlander, announced he'll hang it up after the end of this season. He'll be the Legends pick for the All-Star Game. That will be his 10th All-Star appearance when they settle in at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Speaking of nice round numbers, 10's pretty good to finish up a career with, I'd say. Ooh. Thanks, BG. I like the Legends pick. I know some people have a different opinion of it, but you know what? You've given enough of yourself to this game. I don't have a problem with that.
Special pitcher, Justin Verlander.
You don't see many like that anymore. But what we saw Friday night from Hunter Green, I mean, that's the type of guy you think of.
Yeah, that kind of domination. But it was over a long time.
What I remember about Verlander when he came up, I remember actually going to a game, sitting in the stands watching him, and at that point when he was first coming up, the radar guns in the stadium were relatively still new. And you know, he starts off the game, no question, in the probably low to mid 90s. Let's be realistic. And then all of a sudden, you look up in the 7th inning and he starts throwing 100.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just getting into it.
Yeah.
And he just knew how, as the game went along, to find that extra gear. That was early in his career. Then as he went along, he made the adjustment, had to kind of change and not necessarily reinvent himself, but like Hunter talked about when he was talking to Joey Votto, evolve with the game and figure out, all right, How can I get guys out with what I've got now? Dansby Swanson moves to his left to get Sal Stewart for the first out here in the 5th. I mean, those are just special guys that are just,
think about a Max Scherzer, another guy kind of like that. These guys have just been in the game for so long, and yes, been pitched through injuries, reinvented themselves, not the 100-mile-an-hour guy, so now more pitching as opposed to the power stuff that you saw at one point in their careers. Just special talents. Special talents.
I looked it up because I was curious. At first I said it yesterday facetiously to you, did you face Verlander? You only missed him by a year.
Yeah. And I'm glad I did.
You mean Barry Larkin in his last year might have had a little trouble with Justin Verlander in his first year?
Yes. A little trouble. I think it'd been more than a little trouble.
You don't think you were ready to handle 101 or whatever he was running up there at that point?
No, thank you.
Oh,
I remember facing Billy Wagner late in my career, and I was looking up at the board where he was pitching in Philadelphia. First pitch he threw me was 99. Next pitch was 100, and the last pitch was 101.
Oh, perfect.
And yeah, and I didn't do so well against that.
No. Can't imagine.
An aging shortstop with that kind of power, no thank you.
Backhanded by Michael Busch. It's a foot race to the bag, and boy barely beat Steer for the second out here in the 5th inning. Awfully close. Reds won't challenge. It was pretty close.
It was very close. That's why they tell you when you're running to the bag, you always want to touch the front part of the bag. Always. As a pitcher, when you're covering, you want to touch the front part of that bag. If you touch the front part of the bag, you're there much quicker.
Right.
Than if you touch the middle, which is where Boyd was. And you can see Spence touches the front part of the bag. Made it closer.
And it's funny because you hear that and you think, oh, come on, how much of a difference does that really make? But you see it right there. That's the difference in safer out. J.J. Bleday, a base hit his last time up, and it was a beautiful base hit the other way into left that drove home the Reds' second run. At the time it tied this game up.
Tommy, small things in this game yield huge results. Huge difference. That's why paying attention, and that's the thing that I got from Lou Piniella. You know, the mental mistakes. A mental mistake is not touching the front part of the bag. It is something that physically happens, but if you tell yourself this is what you're going to do, you're going to do it.
Right.
And that's what Lou would harp upon. I think that's what made him a great manager.
Look at teams that are perceived as overachieving teams. Those are the things they don't miss on.
That's right.
The little details. And J.J. Bleday works a 4-pitch 2-out walk. Just ahead of Eugenio Suarez. All he did last time up was send one 444 feet into the second deck and left.
Yeah, this was a huge monster shot.
200 for Gino.
Number 200 on the season. I'm sorry, on his career here at Great American, and my word, or as a Cincinnati Red.
Right.
And it was a no doubter. Just was, okay, how high is this ball going to land?
Yeah, you file that one under majestic.
Yeah, that was majestic.
Well, we talked about it. This is one of those guys that he's a peak and valley guy. And he's now homered in his last 2 games. He's about to recharge his batteries over the All-Star break. Be fun to see him come back in the second half strong and ready to go and ready to do some damage. Well, you ask how high would it go? How about this? StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud.
31 degrees of launch angle.
pretty good altitude, 99 feet.
I think that's higher than my wedge shot. That's only going 100 yards.
Well, a sword swing to strike out in the 5th. We're still tied through 5 here at Great American Ballpark.
Bank of America.
Join the Reds July 27th through 29th when they take on the Cleveland Guardians, presented by Kroger. Zero hunger, zero waste. The battle for the Ohio Cup continues later this month. Visit reds.com/tickets. It's time now for our Kia player profile. How about Sal Stewart? Not only an all-star, having Rookie of the Year type season. He's played in all 95 games so far this year. He's the first rookie to do that since rookie rules were established back in 1948.
We talk a lot about abilities, right? Hit ability, baseball IQ, just athleticism. The best ability is availability, and he has been that all year. Good for him.
And he has weathered the ups and downs tremendously. Mostly ups, to be fair. He had a little trouble there for a while after the league made the adjustment, but
he made the adjustment to the adjustment.
A little cat and mouse game. Fun to talk to guys that really embrace and enjoy that aspect of the game of baseball.
Those are normally the guys to stick around for a while.
You want to be challenged at this level. There's a reason you're competitive, right?
Well, you're going to be challenged. Regardless if you want it or not, you are going to be challenged at this level.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean, though. Like, elite athletes love a challenge, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's what you live off that. You feed off that.
For sure. It motivates you. You're right.
2-2 on Michael Busch. And he's down on strikes here. Busch had been on fire. He was 5 for his last 6. 3 of those 5 hits were doubles, but he strikes out here to begin the 6th inning. Taking a look at our Jake Sweeney Chevrolet pitch tracks.
Really nice pitch by Chase Petty here. Went up top with the changeup. You mentioned it, Michael Busch. Loving that lefty on the mound. All kind of success against Andrew Abbott today. A couple doubles. A couple sweepers left out over the plate.
Petty jumps ahead of Nico Horner. Horner still hitless in the series. A couple of ground outs so far today. He's now 0 for 9. Got under this. Should be routine for Steer. Marte over, though. They converge. Somebody caught it. It was Marte over the top of Steer. The two discuss it a little bit. And that's one of those things you're worried about.
Well, there's obviously some communication. We can see Marte saying, I got it, I got it, I got it. And the same thing from Spencer Steer. Now, both guys, you don't look at each other. Both guys are looking up at the ball. So you're just training yourself to hear, understanding pop-up priority. You train yourself to run and listen for the call that should come from the center fielder. Now, don't know how loud that was out there from Spencer Steer, but he obviously said something.
Yeah, I would say he thought it was his.
And then there's the comfort level of being out there with the guys and understanding.
Quickly 0-2 on Happ.
Once again, it's those small details.
Didn't hurt the Reds there, but we've seen plenty of times where it can hurt you as a team. They collide, the play isn't made, and it can also hurt you as the player. A lot of injuries happen that way.
Psychologically, could put a little doubt in your mind. And do I trust myself as a manager? Do I trust that player? Can he play that position? Does he take control?
0-2 on Ian Happ. spins him off the plate. Let's go downstairs and hear from BG. What do you got for us?
Just talking about Spencer Steer, the ball player, and now Spencer Steer, the center fielder. Terry Francona said when he first approached Steer about playing in center field, and he asked him his experience level in center field, Steer said, "Do you really want that answer?" And then he chuckled, but so far so good.
All right, thanks BG. Strike three call to get Ian Happ. And hey, you know what? Why don't we head back down to the dugout? What else you got for us?
Just keep it right here. Pretty special weekend in these parts for a lot of kids and their families. Around Cincinnati, you may be familiar with the Joe Nuxall Miracle League fields just north of downtown in Fairfield. Well, former Red Sean Casey is involved in a similar organization in the Pittsburgh area known as Casey's Clubhouse. And that's Sean Casey with Kim Nuxall and the Nuxall family. They host kids at these fields and play baseball all year round, but they came together this weekend, a road trip for the kids from Casey's Clubhouse to come to Fairfield and play at the Joe Nuxall Miracle League fields. They called it the Miracle Series. They played the games on Saturday. We're here pregame today, and Sean Casey continues to work in conjunction with the Nuxalls to make a lot of dreams for a lot of kids come true.
You know, we had 6 different states that were represented at this field, at the Nuxall field yesterday. Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Iowa. So we had 6 teams, you know, all the kids there. It was just incredible. It really was. It was kind of a mind-blowing thing. You know, when you think about Nuxie's Miracle League, I believe has been there almost 13 years. Ours has been there 15 years in Pittsburgh. And we've just been able to really unite, you know, our fields and then now starting to bring other teams in. It's just, it's kind of like the vision of what you thought it would be, but it's just really, really, really special. Love that our athletes, you know, in the special needs community too have for the game of baseball, and the fact they're out there playing, having a home run derby. But then when they come to the Reds game today, man, like, this is cool. You know, we all give them the shirts and stuff.
And thanks to the mayor, always good to have him back. And some of the ball players involved in the series this weekend, they were on the field pregame, in the stands now. Just a great collaboration between Casey's Clubhouse and the Joe Nuxall Miracle League Foundation. Guys.
All right, thanks, BG. That is incredible. What a cool experience.
That is great. And it's so nice to see Sean Casey, who is an outstanding individual. I think we all know that here in Cincinnati. To stay active in the game of baseball, in front of the camera and behind.
Making dreams come true all in the process. Just, it's incredible. Stevenson goes to left, but he got under it, and Ian Happ will put it away for the first out here in the 6th. Just a little out in front of the changeup there. Now Noelvi Marte hitting for the 3rd time, looking for his first hit of the afternoon. Sharply hit back through the middle. There it is. There's his first hit today. 1 out base hit for Noelvi Marte to begin the Reds' 6th inning here with 1 out. Kind of hope maybe that'll spark a rally.
Yeah, really nice job of Noelvi. I'm going to tell you, these signs, the way he's hitting, especially against the lefties, staying much more square to the plate. I really, really, truly believe he's going to have a really good second half.
He's another guy that, when the season started, it wasn't an unreal expectation to think that he would be a key contributor to this Reds offense this year.
Yeah. So mechanically, he needed to change some things, and he did.
Softly hit toward Bregman. And Arroyo beats out the relay from Horner. Just a little nubber toward 3rd. But Arroyo taking nothing for granted, hustling out of the box, getting down the line quickly.
Yeah, the one thing that never goes into a slump is speed and hustle. That's what you expect to see from Edwin Arroyo. See what part of the bag he hit?
And again, it made a difference.
It did.
Well, Keith Bryant's been on both times. Ripped a single to left center field, then was hit by a pitch. Boyd climbing the ladder with that fastball to get ahead 0-2. If Hayes gets on, Ellie's next. The Reds got all 4 of their runs in the third. Boyd still out there. Checks on Arroyo as it starts to sprinkle a little bit here. It's a warm, muggy day. That might feel good. 0-2 on Key Brian Hayes. But it's softly rolled to Swanson. He'll go the short way to Horner, forcing out Arroyo, ending the Reds' 6th. Still tied through 6.
You know, attorneys you trust.
The ultimate goal of an MLB fan? Sing it all. The MLB Journey to 30 sweepstakes presented by T-Mobile is the ultimate bucket list. Enter now for your chance to win trips to all 30 ballparks. Visit MLB.com/journey to 30 sweeps. That's pretty cool. Dansby Swanson takes ball 1. Struck out both times he's come up. Both of those were against Andrew Abbott. Abbott finished with 3 strikeouts over his 4 innings today. 1-1 on Swanson. Petty's still out there. This is his 3rd inning of work. He came on in the 5th. And a good breaking ball. Sam All starting to throw. Pedro Ramirez, the switch hitter, was moved out on deck. Swanson yanks one to left. That's going to get by Blade and roll to the wall. Swanson's got himself a leadoff double here in the 7th inning with this game all evened up.
A sinker right there, and Dansby Swanson, who's been quiet offensively this series. Figure at some point he's going to figure it out.
He had a stretch against San Diego, 2-game span where he hit 5 home runs. He's gone 6 for 30 since then, and that's his first extra base hit over that stretch. So that's going to be it for Chase Petty. So a new pitcher coming on. Tell you all about him when we come back.
Toyota gives you more electric.
The Reds and Avocados from Peru have teamed up for a chance to win a new 2026 Toyota Tacoma SR or a VIP Reds experience. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit reds.com/avo to enter. Sam Maul is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen, on for the 44th time. One of the things that Maul has done a great job of, stranding inherited runners. The Reds are hoping he can do that here against the switch hitting Pedro Ramirez. Batting for Kevin Alcantara. Maul has stranded 22 of the 28 runners he's inherited so far in 2026. Ramirez bunted at it but missed, and now he's behind a ball and 2 strikes.
And you saw Ramirez try to yank that ball down the third base line. It's a fastball up and away. Easy to bunt that ball to first base, but because Sal Stewart is crashing so hard, he forces Ramirez to try to get to third base. Missed the bunt attempt.
Infield will back up. No bunt here, and still 1-2. Got him looking. Fastball beautifully located on the outside corner. Unable to get the bunt down, ends up striking out. A non-productive pinch hit at bat for Pedro Ramirez. Let's take a look at it on our UC Health pitch tracks.
Oh, really nice job by Sam Moss. Been really good at stranding those inherited runners. This is why. Well executed fastball down and away after a few tough pitches to try to bunt.
Now Pete Crow Armstrong turns a little early on that. Off the facade of the upper deck. 0-1 on Pete Crow Armstrong. Still hitless in this series. Almost had an RBI infield hit for a brief moment. The Cubs had a 5-4 lead. And then the call was reviewed and reversed at first. It turned out to be a ground out to the second baseman Edwin Arroyo. And now Crow Armstrong 0 for 2 today. He did walk and score back in the first inning. Reds have done a good job against him though. 0 for 9 in this series. Awfully dangerous when he's hunting an RBI though. Fouled that off Stevenson.
That sweeper just kind of stayed right there. PCA just missed it.
Former first-round pick back in 2020, a high school pick out of Harvard Westlake in LA. And he lays off the breaking ball down and away. Became the first player this year with 20 homers and 20 stolen bases when he homered twice on Wednesday. O'Neal Cruz is probably the next closest, but he came into the weekend with only 14 home runs to go with his 21 stolen bases. And it's a full count. There have been other players that have had multiple 2020 seasons with the Cubs, but he's the only Cub to be able to reach that mark before the All-Star break. He's done it twice now, and both times he's reached it before the break. Sharply hit off the backhand glove of Sal Stewart. It's into right. Swanson getting the wave, and the throw home is late. Pete Crow Armstrong's first hit of the series puts the Cubs on top 5-4.
You get the lefty on lefty matchup, and that's just a sinker that's just up in the zone. And PCA definitely a player that can impact the game in multiple ways. Be careful right here. Now on first base. Look for him to try to get himself in the scoring position.
He already got his 24th stolen base of the year after walking to open the game in the first inning. He draws a throw from Sam Moll, thinking right along the lines you are. Well, we're late in this game in the 7th. Reds will have the top of the order coming up in the home half, starting with Ellie. Boy, watching PCA over at first base on that pitch, he doesn't look comfortable at all against Sam Moll.
Or it could be a setup.
Perhaps.
Oh, trust me. it happens.
I bet.
As a runner at first base, you're looking at that pitcher and you're saying to yourself, I'm going to make him think that I have no clue. I'm going to break back. And you lull that pitcher into thinking, okay, he's not running. Next time he picks that leg up, boom, gone.
2-1 now on Seiya Suzuki, and not quite as much of a move that time by PCA, and it definitely looks like he's trying to time up Sam Moll.
Vince Coleman.
Yeah?
Vince Coleman shared that with me because he was a great base stealer.
Well, he's one of the best.
When he came here to Cincinnati. So, Lark, you don't have a good read on a pitcher, just break back real hard, and then on the next pitch, Go, because he's going to think you have no read on it.
Check swing, Tapper over the mound. Arroyo fields, tries to tag. Everybody's safe. Maul let it go, which more often than not works out better, but not in this instance.
Yeah, a little indecisiveness. You just got to figure out which way you're going to go, and you just have to commit to it. You get caught in between, and this is what happens. It's just too fast of a game to have any indecisiveness out there.
It goes as an infield hit for Seiya Suzuki on what looked like it could very well be an inning-ending double play. Terry Francona back to the mound. He's got Pierce Johnson ready to go. Cubs have taken a 1-run advantage here in the 7th.
$35 a month.
Pierce Johnson in a little bit of a pickle. Couple men aboard. A run home for the Cubs here in the 7th. They've taken a 5-4 lead, but there is one out. He's a ground ball away from getting out of the inning. However, he's got to deal with Alex Bregman, who has been looking much better at the plate over the last couple days. Right on right. And Johnson quickly gets ahead.
A little frustration from Alex Bregman. That was a fastball, forcing fastball, middle, and he missed it.
He didn't miss this. Crank to left. Bleday back, out of room. It's a 3-run bomb for Alex Bregman. Pretty much the same pitch.
Yeah, another pitch a little higher. And we talked about how Alex Bregman can turn from not being such a offensive threat to being the monster that he's been throughout his career, and you're seeing it right here in this game.
Well, he's now homer to the last 2.
2-run home run yesterday down the line. Bloop double early in the game. Another base hit in the 5th, and now the bomb.
Right to Ke'Bryan Hayes, and he has all day to get Carson Kelly for the 2nd out here in the 7th inning. But the Cubs now have doubled up the Reds. The Reds had a 4-run 3rd inning, and now the Cubs have a 4-run 7th. The problem was when this inning began, this game was tied. Michael Busch struck out his last time up. First time he's been retired today. Had doubles off the Cubs bullpen gate his first 2 times up. But as we've talked about all series long, look, you get into this Cub bullpen early enough, and it really doesn't matter. Actually, to be fair, it doesn't matter when you get into their bullpen, because their bullpen is struggling. They are taking on water in a big way. So you still have a chance. You just got to keep it within striking distance. And it's 1-2 on Michael Busch. Well located fastball. I can promise you that guy's not real comfortable. Cubs bullpen beat up. And that's why they're struggling right now. Their bullpen, that is. Cubs are still winning baseball games, even though their bullpen has struggled. They've been able to weather the storm to this point. It's 2-2 on Michael Busch. They came into this series one of the hottest teams in baseball. It's been a funny year.
Yeah, you see Craig Counsell just kind of walking down and trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to navigate the last 3 innings of this ball game?
Ellie cuts in front of Hayes. His strong throw gets Busch, ending the Cubs 4-run 7th. But It is a 4-run 7th inning. So the Reds will come to bat down 4. But first, let's stretch. Here's Josie.
Please stand. Kindly remove your hats and face the American flag. Major League Baseball, the Reds and Cubs salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Leo Welsh as he leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Now visit reds.com/premium.
This ball's crushed. Gino to the second deck to put the Reds on top. Our Barres storylines. Eugenio Suarez with that big home run. At the time, it gave the Reds a 4-2 advantage. Hunter Green was on with us during that big 4-run 3rd inning. It has not gone as well since we let Hunter go. Maybe we should have just kept him on.
Kept him on, yeah.
He sounded like he was up for it. So since that 4-run inning, Reds have been outscored by 6. It is 8-4 now. See if the Reds have a rally in them. It's the first time this year that Matthew Boyd has pitched into the 7th inning. They do have action in their bullpen behind him. Gavin Hollowell's loosening behind Boyd, but Boyd behind Ellie here. 1 for 3, Ellie. 2-2. Over in the Reds bullpen, Rhett Lauder getting loose. If he gets into the game, probably his last time pitching out of the bullpen for a while. Nick Lodolo going to the injured list. Terry Francona saying before the game, now strike 3 called to De La Cruz. Tito saying that likely Lauder would just slot right into Lodolo's spot in the rotation.
A backdoor slider. Talked about Boyd and the success he's had. This time just freezing Nelly De La Cruz backdoor. This ball starts well off the plate. Just tickles the outside part, and he's done for the day.
Well, the way the Reds ambushed him in the 3rd inning, knocked him around. Definitely didn't expect him to make it into the 7th, but he will exit with 1 out.
Like the power to do.
The new right-handers, Gavin Hollowell. First time that Craig Counsell's gone to his bullpen so far this year. On for the 8th time, and he pours in strike 1 to Sal Stewart.
6'7", right-handed sidearm.
That's no picnic.
No, it's not.
And Sal tops one toward 3rd. Bregman comes to get it. 2 down in the 7th. Big Sandy Superstore would like a word.
You'll find the best selection of the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Big Sandy Superstore in Fairfield and the Kenwood Shopping Center.
Spencer Steer singled back in the first inning. 1 for 3. Was held hitless in the ball game last night. Had 3 hits in the first game of the series. 0-1 on Steer. Now he's down to the count. No balls, 2 strikes. This is the last time the Reds are going to be here at Great American Ballpark for a while. Reds have a lengthy road trip coming out of the All-Star break. Off for 4 days, and then it's a zigzag road trip. Way off the outside corner, 1 and 2. Start in Denver, then head on up. Right on the way to St. Louis. You make a little pit stop on the way to Seattle and then come back to St. Louis. Before the Reds come home, there's an off day in St. Louis on that trip. So a couple of weeks really before the Reds are back here at Great American Ballpark.
And then the Cleveland Guardians.
Well, that's the illustrious Ohio Cup.
The Ohio Cup, which is sitting here in Cincinnati.
Yes, it is. Polished and on full display. You can go see it at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. 2-2 on Spencer Steer. And it almost hit him. I think it's a foul ball instead. Although I didn't see any indication from Alex McKay, the plate umpire. It's a foul ball though. 2-2. Little looper right center field. That's falling. Steer has his second hit today.
Really nice job by Spence. Side armor. You got to make sure you stay up the middle. He does that. Tell you, every time I see a swing I go, man, that's such a nice,
isn't it?
It really is.
This is another guy, I think, JJ Bleday, that his swing looks really nice.
The difference being that JJ Bleday is basically a pull hitter. And when you see him, as you said, like on that pitch right there, there was looked like a pull swing on the ball that was away. The base hit that he had to left field really stood out because it was to left field.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Steer, a guy that really hits it to all fields.
Yes.
And especially when he's going well. He can drive it to all fields.
And I think J.J. Bleday will continue to get better the more that he experienced the success of hitting the ball the other way. You know, that's something that needs to be pointed out to players every day. And I don't care if you're a big league player or not. You have to be reminded that you're better when you use the whole field.
Swings through a changeup here. Frustrated to close out the 7th. 8-4 Cubs.
Bank of America.
It's Skyline time at Great American Ballpark, isn't it always? Join the Reds on July 30th as they take on the Pirates by purchasing a special ticket package that includes an exclusive Reds and Skyline Chili co-branded cap. Get tickets now. Reds.com/specials. Nico Horner leading off the Cub 8th against Rhett Lauder. Might be the last time we see Lauder out of the bullpen for a while, with him moving back into the rotation coming out of the All-Star break for the injured Lodolo, the blistered Lodolo. 2 hops toward the hole to Ellie. 1 down. This is what it's going to look like coming out of the break. You've got Brady Singer, the veteran, at the top. Not only is Lauder sliding into the rotation. He's going to slide into that 2 spot. Then Hunter Green right behind him.
I wouldn't say that's the 2 spot.
No, you're right.
He's just pitching second.
Yeah.
I think we know what the number 1 slot is. And that is Hunter Green all day long. The way that he pitched, I cannot wait to see the extended period of time and Hunter Green and Chase Burns going out there trying to be the guy.
Look, he kind of touched on the idea a little bit, but I feel like there is definitely that healthy internal competition there.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
That's great. It's not like the competition a lot of times is I do good and you do bad, like I win and you lose. No, it's you do great and I do great +1 and then you do great +2. I think it's amazing, and I think anytime you have great pitching, that happens. I think about the Nasty Boys, and I saw it at the back end of the game, like who is going to be the guy that's going to get a chance to close out this game? And normally it wasn't Norm Charlton. Sometimes it was. But it was Rob Dibble and Randy Myers. And Dib saying, I should be closing, and Randy saying, no, I should be closing. I think it is healthy. I've seen it firsthand. It works. It makes everybody better.
You talk about that. I could hear it being, hey, I retired him 1, 2, 3. The next guy, I struck out the side. The next guy, I struck out the side on 10 pitches. Now I want to do it on 9. I mean, that's healthy. That's very healthy.
Yeah.
And usually it results in winning baseball.
Yes. Yes, I just really look forward to seeing both those guys hopefully healthy at the same time, just going out and just mowing down teams.
Obviously the elephant in the room is how much more rope does Chase Burns have with the number of innings he's getting to now and where he's at with regards to where he's been for his career. That's very real.
Yes, it is. But you got Hunter, who just went through it not too long ago,
right,
to sit down and talk you through it. And that's some of the stuff that he was talking about.
Swinging right through the slider. Boy, Louder looks good. Got the weak ground ball from Horner. He just carved up Ian Happ, and now Swanson hasn't had a good swing against him yet. That's not exactly an A swing there either, and it's a soft broken bad liner to Sal. Closing out a 1-2-3-8 for Rhett Louder. Reds have some work to do.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
0-1 on Eugenio Suarez as he bats leading off the Reds' 8th. Reds have some work to do against this Cub bullpen, but Hollowell looked pretty good in the 7th, and so far he's ahead of Suarez 0-2. Struck out 2 in the scoreless 7th inning. Tino's down on 3 pitches. Take a look at it on our Champion Windows pitch tracks.
I mentioned the 6'7" side arming sweeper. Hollowell, that's a tough pitch to hit.
Looks like he's just kind of slinging it up there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, Barry, when I watch him pitch, he works from pretty much right in the middle of the slab. You would almost think he could use that leverage to his advantage and work from the third base side of the slab. That, I would think you were right-handed.
He can do that when he leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
He can do that when he faces someone else, but not right now. But yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
You're absolutely right.
I don't think you guys practice that a whole lot, hitting pitches that start from behind you.
No, it's nasty. So far in this game, he's been really good.
He has struck out 3, and he's got Stevenson down, a ball and 2 strikes. Stevenson has been red hot, though. Hitting over 350 over about the last month. 6 extra base hits in a 23-game swath.
Yeah, Steve-O has certainly been really good offensively and excellent defensively with the ABS challenges.
Well, he's going to have to leg this one out. Hollowell makes the play. He did have an infield hit Friday night.
Yes, he did. And as I said, he went back to the boys and said, athlete.
Brings up Noelvi Marte. He's 1 for 3, got a hit in the 6th. And you just watch the body language of Noelvi Marte on that breaking ball.
Hitters will let you know.
Pretty uncomfortable looking swing to make it 0-2 with Caleb Thielbar now getting loose out in the Cub bullpen. The left-hander probably be available for the 9th. And Carson Kelly thought that was in there.
The pitch is called the ball. The catcher is challenging.
It might have clipped the bottom. Let's see. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile.
Chicago has 2 challenges remaining.
4 strikeouts over 2 innings. No, excuse me, 3 strikeouts over an inning and 2/3 for Hollowell.
Fox 19 now.
A look at our Toyota game summary. Well, that top line there.
Yeah.
Kind of says the story.
Yeah, that's the difference. At one point, that 2-run blast by Gino.
While we were visiting with Hunter Green. That whole rally.
Put us up 4-2, I believe it was, and hasn't been good since.
Cubs had already taken the lead, but the 3-run blast by Alex Bregman kind of felt like the backbreaker. That was off Pierce Johnson. 2-0 on Pedro Ramirez, who gets his second at bat after pinch hitting and striking out looking in the 7th inning. And you kind of, I'll go back to that at bat because it followed a leadoff double. The Reds went to the bullpen there. And you thought, well, all right, he failed to get the bunt down.
Yes.
He was hitting to do just that. The Reds got the strikeout. Samall struck him out looking, and you thought, well, all right, maybe they can strand that leadoff double. Now he walks, leading off the Cub 9th. But then a base hit by Pete Crow Armstrong ended up scoring Dansby Swanson, and then the single by Seiya Suzuki preceded that 3-run blast by Bregman. Here is PCA again. That base hit in the 7th that broke the 4-4 tie was his first hit of the series. One for 10, but an RBI, 2 runs scored now. Today he's 1 for 3 with a walk. He scored both runs in this game. And now he's way ahead, 3-0. It has been tough sledding for the Reds this year against the National League Central Division. Back-to-back walks by Louder. Ramirez now PCA here in the 9th. A brief word now from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky at MVG. With over 2,200 of the best gaming machines, we got you covered.
I'm looking at the dugout. I see Sean McQueenie kind of up the stairs a little bit, wondering if there's a medical issue possibly going on.
Well, there's definitely blood on the pant leg of Rhett Lauder, and it's coming from his hand somewhere. Meanwhile, Julian Garcia is starting to throw in the Reds bullpen. I haven't seen yet where it's coming from on his hand. He's trying to hide it, it looks like, because he certainly didn't want the umpire to see it. Pretty hard to hide that.
Yep.
Strike one to Seiya Suzuki. Still haven't been able. He was wiping. It looked like an open hand on his pant leg. So I don't know if it's coming from a fingernail.
It's definitely his right hand, though. His throwing hand.
J.J. Bleday settles under this. Seiya Suzuki's the first out here in the 9th inning. Looks like it's even on his jersey, so whatever is bleeding on his hand it's pretty good. Nothing in one on Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman has been a little more Alex Bregman-like today. 3 for 4. He's a triple shy of the cycle as he hits here in the 9th inning. Two on and one out. Well thrown across at the knees.
Well, we talked about how dangerous Alex Bregman is. It's because his swing is so short and compact. Got a heater.
Lofted toward Marte. Put that away. Runners hold, and now 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Well, there aren't many major league hitters that are going to miss back-to-back center cut fastballs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know Alex Bregman is not going to.
Yeah, you figured he's been down for so long, just has not figured it out yet. You see signs of him coming. And sometimes it takes a bloop, and he got one of those. He hit the 2-run home run on a breaking ball last night. Bloop early in the game. You start feeling, okay, maybe there's some light at the end of this tunnel, and then you get a pitch, it shows up. You're not pressing anymore because you got a couple hits, and boom.
He can leave town now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's time.
Yep. 1-0 on Carson Kelly. 2-0. Kelly hitless. He struck out, also hit into a double play, but he walked and scored in the 4th inning.
And Carson Kelly and Michael Busch, got to give those guys the credit, because when you're not getting your PCA, has been down for the most part. Suzuki, yeah, he's done his damage, but it's been Carson Kelly and Michael Busch that have consistently been on base and produced.
In the air towards center, here comes Steer, and he makes a fine sliding catch in short center. That was a nice play by the Reds center fielder. See if the Reds have a big rally in them when we come back. Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by Jake Sweeney Kia. Drive smart, spend less, and by the Ohio Department of Transportation. Buckle up. A left-hander on now for the Cubs. Terry Francona talking with Rhett Lauder in that Reds dugout, presumably about whatever is bleeding on his finger. But Lauder gutted it out. Here's the left-hander now taking over for the Cubs. It is Caleb Thielbar on for the 32nd time.
And we did see him in yesterday's ball game. 14 pitches he threw. And it's been the success he's had has been on that four-seam fastball. 174 hitters are hitting against, and it's not a high velocity. It's about 93 miles an hour, but a lot of success against the hitters with it.
Thielbar was the second reliever out of the bullpen in the game last night, and now he's the last guy out of there tonight or today.
Possibly.
Yeah, you know what? That is a very glass half full outlook.
Got it.
1-2. Ivan Johnson has moved out on deck. He'll hit for Key Brian Hayes if it gets that far. It will get that far, for the record. Jacob Webb is getting loose in the Cub bullpen. 2-2 now on Edwin Arroyo. And now it's full count. So I guess Craig Counsell's not all that confident that Thielbar will be the last pitcher for the Cubs. He's got a safety net up in the Chicago bullpen behind Thielbar. This ball's cranked to left. Well hit. Hat back. Turns. Looks. It's high off the wall. And Arroyo is going to hang on at first base. He didn't miss his first big league home run by much, but it's just a single.
He certainly didn't. I thought he would have got his first before the break, and I'm thinking, oh, right, he got it. It's not quite high enough, but he certainly hit it hard. 105 off the bat.
Boy, Happ couldn't have played that any better off the wall. Barehanded it. Strong arm, and now Ivan Johnson. Ivan Johnson still in search of his first big league knock. Brief word now from UDF.
Every summer, we make peach ice cream with big chunks of peaches at our dairy. And every summer, it's gone, just like that. So grab some peach before the summer's over.
Fastball misses to even it at 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, why not dream a little? If Johnson can reach, that gets us back to the top of the order. Whoops. Good distance on the bat throw. We've seen some Olympic quality bat throws here the last week or so.
Good distance on that one.
Yep. If that net's not there, that's halfway up the section.
That's somebody probably having to deal with it.
Well, yeah, we don't necessarily want that, but from a distance perspective. 1-2 on Ivan Johnson. In the air towards center, but Pete Crow Armstrong plays out there. That's routine for him. That's the first out of the 9th inning. Brings up Ellie for the 5th time today. The one time he reached back in the 3rd, he came around and scored during the Reds' 4-run 3rd inning rally, which briefly put them up by 2. Cubs came right back and tied this game in the top of the 4th inning. And then took the lead with a 4-run 7th. It has been an incredible first half for Elly De La Cruz. It's really been fun to watch his growth as a right-handed hitter. And he hits this one sharply right-handed, right between short and 3rd. Second hit of the afternoon for Elly. Back-to-back multi-hit games. And what's the biggest difference for you for him right-handed this year as opposed to last year?
Balance and confidence. Last year I felt he was chasing from the right-hand side. this year I feel like he's getting really good hitting position. He's making good swing decisions. He's staying in his posture, and he's making good solid contact out in front, staying behind the baseball.
You were right. Thielbar's not going to finish it. It's now a safe situation. We'll tell you all about who's coming in.
Zone.
It's a safe situation for Jacob Webb. Webb pitched an inning in the ballgame last night. He gets Sal Stewart. Reds have the tying run on deck here in the 9th inning. It was a scoreless inning for Webb in last night's contest. And Sal Stewart didn't agree with that first pitch called strike.
The batter is challenging.
The
call is confirmed. Cincinnati has exhausted their allotment of challenges.
Thank you, Alex. Alex McKay, plate umpire. Alex doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's going to find an open mic night at a comedy club.
Hey, he just said there are no more. That's all he just said.
It was very, I mean, that is about as matter of fact as it gets.
Yeah.
1-1 on Sal Stewart. This could do it. He missed the tag. Only play left is first. And Sal out on the grounder to third. Bregman went for the tag to try to tag Arroyo and then get the double play that way, but Arroyo got around him. And the Cubs maybe didn't agree.
He definitely did not tag him. The question is, did he run out of the perceived baseline?
It's too late in this game to get into that conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's baseline, what's not? It's come into question a little bit here lately.
Here's a crew chief review of the safe call at third base.
You establish a baseline, and do you go out of it to try to avoid the tag?
Well, depending on your interpretation of it,
yeah,
there could be an argument made.
Yeah. So as a runner, you start running towards the bag, and now whatever that path is the perceived baseline, because there's obviously no lines out there.
How much wiggle room?
Exactly. How much can you go away from that baseline to avoid a tag is always the question.
He was just trying to.
After review, the call is confirmed. The runner is safe.
He was trying to avoid interfering with Bregman.
Ah. Okay.
Or obstructing.
Guys, all that works. Give us a chance.
Second and third with 2 out. Tying run does stay on deck, and J.J. Bleday. So Spencer Steer gets a chance here to try to extend the game. A little bit high. Fastball to start this at bat to Spencer Steer. Outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike on Spencer Steer. He's got a couple of hits in this game this afternoon. Had 3 hits in the series opener. Was held hitless yesterday. And now 2-1. Just need another base runner. At this point, it's just keep the line moving. And boy, wouldn't you love to see J.J. Bleday get up there with a chance to tie it against a right-hander.
Yes, indeed.
2-2 on Spencer Steer. Just off the inside corner. In the air, deep, but not deep enough. Happ has it, and the Cubs take the series 2-1 heading into the All-Star break. 8-4, Cubs prevail today over the Reds.
Well, it's been the end to I believe, a frustrating first half of baseball for this team. The high expectations and obviously the inconsistencies, both from the starting pitching, the health of the starting pitching, the bullpen, and the inability to consistently put runs on the board has been, as I said, disappointing this first half. Hopefully something will be figured out and it'll be much, much better in the second half.
Yep, take the break, try to reset. There were some bright spots over the last few days. Of course, Tyler Stevenson's been swinging it better. J.J. Bleday looked like he was heating up. You hope that carries over coming out of the break in Colorado. Tough end to the first half. 8-4, Cubs take it.